Welcome everybody. It's your girl Sequoia Blue. I'm back here another episode, and I have a special guest today, Amanda Graham. I'm so happy to have her on here, y'all. Her book is the bomb. Tell us the title of your book.
It's called Good Stuff to Read When You're About to Lose Your Shit.
Yes. And one thing I can say is that the first chapter, when you're talking about you were on YouTube just scrolling around and just like feeling like, well, what, like that doom scrolling, like what the heck is gonna happen? What am I gonna do with my life? I think that was amazing. Like, what was your journey to I guess in the beginning to finding like yourself? Like, how did you get to that?
I mean, it was so odd because it's a period of my life I like to call the wilderness, and it's lasted 11
Mm.
years. And a lot of us get stuck in it for a good chunk of time, maybe not necessarily as long as me. I refuse to ask for directions. That's probably why I've been in the wilderness for so long. But it all came to a head when everything was going wrong and nothing I tried worked. And, all the beliefs that I had kind of been raised with weren't working anymore. And it all came to a head on a December morning. It was a terrible, terrible day and a terrible time. And I didn't even know who I was praying to. I was just like, I cannot go on another moment like this. And so I am going to need some guidance. I don't know who you are. I don't know what's going on up there, but please just give me something that will help me focus on the right way to go. And so then the next morning I woke up and, I slept on it. And the next morning when I woke up, I came down and I just put on a very cheesy motivational video, the kind where the people are running very slowly. They're running very slowly. And somebody is dramatically going through quotes that are supposed to make you feel better. And they usually do. And then I recognized Steve Jobs's voice. And he was like, so this is for the people out there who you don't know what's going on in life and nothing is making sense. And I was like, no way. Yeah, that's exactly my problem. And he's like, so I have one thing that will help you, get through these dark times. And I was like, yes, Steve Jobs, tell me. Okay, I need to know the answer. What is it? And he was like, it's only when you get to the other side that you'll be able to look back and connect all the dots. And I was like, that's it. Dots. I have to wait until all this mess is over before I even understand it. I was like, you have to be kidding me. I got so mad.
Oh my goodness.
I got so mad. But
I can imagine.
it took a couple years before I connected the first dot. And I was mad that he was right. I was mad when he said it, and I was mad that he was right. And but it's so funny. I find it's broader than life. When you get rejected, it redirects you and things. We're pushed into places that we don't want to be to become the person that we want to be, or become the person that we need to be, if that makes sense. And that's where those dots come in. Is you look back and you go, okay, when this happened, I learned this, or when this happened, I met this person, and because of that, I ended up here. It's like a pinball. It's exactly like a pinball.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. And that's the part I like because it just reminds me of how everything connects together. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I want to go back in time and change this. But then it's like, no, because then you wouldn't be who you are today, and all the things that you've learned. It's like everything does connect in a weird way. And it makes me think about Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights, where he talks about the green lights and the red lights and how everything connects to bring you to where you are. I think that's amazing. And a lot of people, we watch these motivational videos like E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher and David Goggins and all these people. And we're like, okay, I got to get up at 3 a.m. and I got to figure this out. But what do we do? Like you can get up at 3 a.m. and then you're just sitting there, and then what we do? I can work out, but what after work out? Then what? How do we are we going to get rich? Because it's, I was one of those people. That's why I said I related to your book, because I was one of those people, especially in my late 20s. I'm sitting here watching, trying to be like them and trying to copy what they're doing. But I wasn't getting there like that. It was like that wasn't my journey. And sometimes I think that's why social media now is really bothering the Gen Zs and the younger people, because they're busy trying to be like that person. And I'm happy I had a chance, a little window to to grow up without social media so much. Because when I came up, it was just MySpace, and that happened when I hit college. I was like 19, 20 years old. So I had a chance to kind of see the other side. But the kids now, I'm not in school now, in high school, and like that. I'll be picked on all on the social media.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm glad that we were able to leave, to have a bit of privacy, in youth. Can you imagine if we
Yeah.
hadn't?
Oh my God. I say I pray for these young kids. I hope that they can find some solace somewhere
Yeah.
and not believe everything on the internet. But one part of the book I got to talk about is the buggy, like the oh, you know what? Let me talk about this first. The laws of stupidity. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was the bomb because I was thinking to myself that people knew what I knew. Like
Mm.
they just know. Like they just gonna understand. And I had to learn that they don't know. Some people don't know. They just really stuck on stupid, and it's like they don't know. And I'm like, when I was reading this part about the law of stupidity, like everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals among us. Two, the probability that a certain person is stupid is independent of any other characteristic of that person. Three, a stupid person is a person who causes losses to another person while deriving no gain and even possibly incurring losses themselves. Four, non-stupid people always underestimate the damaging power of stupid people. Five, a stupid person is the most dangerous type of person. Oh man, that was a bar. I was like, is she reading my mind? Because I just I sometimes for us underestimate. I'm thinking, like when you're driving and stuff in that part when you said you're just like mad, honking the horn, like why he do that? They don't know any better. And there's no point in
Yeah.
sitting there fussing and making your blood pressure go up.
Oh God, 100%. And discovering the laws of stupidity was one of the greatest things ever. And it actually
Mhm.
really does kind of go together with that thing about getting mad at bad drivers. You do forget
Mhm.
that people are actually stupid. Like I think
Yeah.
clever. Okay, yeah, this is going to sound very cocky or whatever, but clever people tend to hang out with other clever people because you want to talk about clever things, right?
Mhm.
And you take it for granted that
Mhm.
everyone around you thinks not as the same as you, but at least is on the same level in terms of their thinking.
Yeah.
And once you
Yeah.
let go and go, oh yeah, you're just an idiot. Oh yeah, okay. All right, I'm not going to take that
Mhm.
personally. Now, obviously, the big problem is, and we can see with how the world has been run in certain ways, and certainly how it's going
Ooh.
now, that stupid people are
Yikes.
incredibly, incredibly dangerous.
Mhm.
And this is
Yes.
why we can't undervalue education and kind of stopping idiocy in its tracks every
Yes.
single time. We have to do full court press, like every single
Yeah.
time with it,
Mhm.
which
I
makes me
mean, I
find parties.
totally yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like are anybody using their critical thinking? Because I think with AI and me being in tech for 10 years and I do like technology. Like I said, music is my love, but technology is my
Mm,
second love. But it's like to me with AI, you have to have critical thinking skills to it's not just about, oh, let's just use AI. No, do you
mhm.
even know do you have the critical thinking skills to do said task one? And when I was growing up, I used to think, oh, everybody's so smart in tech. I can't do it. When I was 20 years old, 21. I never thought I was going to be in tech because I thought everybody was just so smart. And I get in, I'm like, what's going on here? Are you guys studying outside of college? Like, what? I was so shocked. I was like,
Yeah.
and I started telling everybody, and you can do tech. You just got to have common sense. And you just got to know how to study and read because one thing I was never good at math, but I could comprehend well. So I can read and comprehend.
Mm.
Now I wasn't good at math because I didn't care. I didn't understand. I just didn't put effort into it. I had bad teachers. But it's just that shows you that anybody can do anything if you have critical thinking skills to boot and know
Yeah.
how to read and comprehend. That's it. That's all. Because everybody
Mhm.
can't afford college. But do I think college is important too if you want to go? Cool. But there are certain degrees you need to get, certain degrees that you need to get because it's some degrees you don't need. Some degrees it's like, no, you don't need to go get that one, unless you just rich, got Spike Lee as your dad or something. But but those
I love that.
But
You're
but
so right, though.
yeah,
You're absolutely
yeah.
right. And obviously, critical thinking and curiosity, I think, as well. Intellectual curiosity and curiosity about
Hmm.
people, what motivates them, why they do the things that they want to do. Those are kind of the biggest knowledge sets that you need. And then you can make it in anything, I think, except
Yes.
singing.
Yeah, I didn't.
I have no chance in singing, but other than that, no chance. But other than
Auto
that, you can
tune.
make it anything.
Auto tune is auto tune is coming up, and now with AI, artificial intelligence, like
There's
all
only
these
so much
apps.
technology can do. There's only so much technology can do. You haven't heard my voice. It's terrible.
They're trying to scare us right now with this artificial intelligence movement, and I just want to know your thoughts on artificial intelligence, because I think you said that you had a situation where AI took your job, and
Three
like, how did
times.
that make you feel?
Three jobs. Um,
Good Lord.
Annoyed. It's I don't know why, but I have this knack
Mm,
of picking paths at the worst time. And I don't mean that in a woe is me kind of way, because it really has made me as resourceful as hell and really flexible.
mm,
And when there's a downturn, I don't crumble because I'm so used
mm,
to it, and I have quite a sense of humor about it. But it was very frustrating, teaching myself how to do marketing, teaching myself how to
mhm,
do branded voice writing and use the stuff that I used to do in the past, whether it was
mm,
comedy or documentary research or whatever else. And so I was doing that really well at it. And then then obviously the marketing industry collapses because of AI, but the TV and film industry has already collapsed. Like I've already done other
mhm,
collapsed industries. So I feel it's very funny. Like I have a very mixed view of AI, because I think it can do amazing, like in 10 years when AI is driving nanotech to help with healing, like the
mhm,
medical side of things. I think that's super cool. But
mhm,
stealing artists' work and
mhm,
the resources of the water it takes to power
mhm.
AI, because they have to keep those the towers
Yeah.
cool. Like that kind of stuff is terrifying. And also,
Mhm,
this is a very quick story, but your mind will be blown when you hear this. When
mm,
I did used to use AI when I started doing the marketing, not for research. I don't trust it. It always just makes up
mm,
websites and makes up everything. But I would be like, is there a point I'm missing if I'm trying to do an article on blah blah blah, right? So I just, to make sure I'm not
mhm.
missing out on anything. Anyway, so in February, and I've always been like about it, and I'm aware of the fact that it lies and it's terrible, and people are
Mm,
really trusting it. They're
mhm.
trusting it not only for the information, but they're trusting it to do their thinking as well, which is terrifying. But
Yeah.
so I had to go to Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, to do a
Mm,
weekend of talks on how to write comedy, how to write comedy, TV, and films and stuff, and two let's see, 2 hour talks, a whole weekend of them. Everybody was flying in from all over Europe for this. So I had to do it. And then in February, my best friend
mm,
died like a few weeks before
mm,
it happened. And obviously I was a mess. And as
mm,
a matter of fact, like the 18 months before she died, my Nana died, my friend Martin died, the sale of my flat fell through 8 times. I had lost the 3 jobs to AI.
mm,
My Somebody in my family had had the second heart attack. My sister had 2 strokes. This was all in 18
mm,
months. So then my best friend dies, and I was a mess. But I decided I needed to go to Tallinn. I needed something to kind of get me through. But I had no energy.
mm,
Now, thank God I had already written the talks. But I went on to AI going like, I need like bullet points, because I had to make resources from the talks, like, digital resources.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't got the strength to collapse this and whatever else. So I went on there and I was like, can
Mm,
you create the digital resources out of these talks? So I put them in. Then out of nowhere, AI goes, oh, do you want me to make slides for you? I can do that and everything. And I was like, oh, for all 4 talks?
mm,
Are you kidding? For 2 hour presentations? Yes. So
mhm,
anyways, cue 2.5, 3 days of it going, I need a little more time. Sorry, I need a little more time. Can you give me a little more
mm,
time? Blah, blah, blah. This was going on. Then
mm,
like after a bit of time, then it was going, I'll tell you what I'll do. This is all like I'll open a Google Doc for you, and I'm going to put it all in a Google Doc so you can just download it. Oh my God, yes, thank you. Where is it? Here it is. Here's the link. Links go to nowhere, Sequoia. Links, it doesn't even exist. I'm
Oh
like,
no.
files don't exist. Nothing exists. And it's like, no, look, here, I'll do another link for you. This went on, like I said, for like 2.5, 3 days. And then at the end, I was like, I don't understand why you're saying it's there when it's not there. And then it's like, oh, sorry, I just lied. And I was
Oh
like,
no.
why did you
Was
do
that
that?
on
And I was like, why
what?
did you
That
do that? And
ChatGPT?
yeah,
Oh
no,
my
it said,
goodness.
I just wanted to, because I'm kind of meant to make people feel better, and I'm supposed to
Hmm.
mock, or I'm supposed to like mimic human behavior, and humans would do that in that situation. I was like, are you kidding me? And so it gave me a huge list
Man.
of why it completely lied about what it could do. I was like, I didn't even ask you to do that in the first place.
Oh
Why did you tell me to do that?
no.
Yeah.
I never had that happen. That is nuts. I mean, I created my own custom bot because I wanted it to be on my level of thinking. So she's custom, and I haven't had a lot of issues with her, but definitely she has done some things wrong, like especially when I need help with some coding stuff, and I'm like, ah, that's the wrong syntax, girl. But I have to go back and tell her you put the wrong syntax, because I call her Shay because she's my little Shay. But I mean, I think that yeah, AI is like your baby assistant that you have to be like. I think now the creator of OpenAI, I think he's trying to, I guess, make it better, and that's why everybody's running around chicken with their head cut off, because they're saying in 2-3 years it's going to be taking jobs and stuff like that. And you live
Yeah.
in the UK now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how is it going there with like the jobs and stuff? Is it the same as in the US where everybody's losing their jobs, or?
Yeah, everybody's losing. It's bad over here. Like ever since Brexit, which just devastated us financially. We don't have like there. We used to be able to work in any country in the EU, which is
Mm.
amazing in terms of opportunity, especially working remotely. That's gone now. And so there's loads of opportunities, especially as artists, whether you're a singer, whether you're a scientist, whether you're a writer or an actor. We used to have all kinds of amazing programs where you could apply for funding and get funding and go to all these
Oh,
wonderful places to study, whether it was for 2 weeks or a year or whatever. That's all gone. And our economy is so screwed. So it's really difficult. And also we make a lot less money than people in America overall. Like, so
oh,
I live in the Northwest, which is like, there's some nice areas of the Northwest, but generally speaking, versus London or a lot of the South, it's quite poor. So here, a good salary is like £25,000 a year.
mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm always looking at other countries trying to figure out what's going on. Are they copying the US? What's going on? Because I'm like, I kind of think about moving out of the US. So
Yeah.
I'm always like trying to see what's going on. So that's interesting. And like
Yeah.
are they still doing are they doing a lot of stage plays, or like as far as, because I know you do voiceover work, right? As well.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Are you still getting a lot of voiceover work now, or are you having to
No,
create your own projects?
no, there's a lot of people using AI now for voiceover work, and all of the guilds and the unions are kind of in battle with tech right now to try and protect the rights of
Mm.
artists, and so we're kind of in this mire, you know. So everyone I know who's creative, there are very few people like,
Mm.
how is it? 80%, it's somewhere between 68 and 80% of the freelancers in the TV and film industry are gone now. It's just,
Gee.
yeah, it's really, really bad. It's really bad. So, but on the upside, we don't have to pay for healthcare.
Oh,
And when
hey.
something, yeah, so when something goes wrong, it doesn't bankrupt you, you know.
Oh,
So I think I'll take that.
that is a perk, because yikes, here in the US, this is so
I
expensive,
know,
and now
hon.
they're getting rid of Medicaid, and
I
I said,
know.
"Oh no." So a
I
lot of
know.
people are parents or grandparents have to leave the nursing homes now by the end of, like, I think the end of September they're saying that they have to leave. I said, "Oh, it's just it's crazy times." I think back in the day, people would say, "Oh, don't have multiple streams of income." But now you
Oh no,
better
you
have
have
multiple streams
to.
of income,
You
because
have to,
yeah,
hon. Absolutely. And
yeah.
it sucks because I mean, it doesn't suck to have multiple streams of income. It's just we're expected to work so hard with very little help. In nobody, not since manual labor, kind of everybody was doing manual labor. I work 60 hours a week, sometimes 80 hours a week. Last year, I had 6 jobs at the same time. So I had like a laptop in one hand and a laptop in the other, trying to make sure my meetings didn't clash. And, and that's just to get by. That's just to get by. And well, you'll know, like when you get to a certain point in my book, one of the reasons I went with self-publishing was my agent and I packaged it. We sent it out to loads of people, and my agent warned me this was going to happen. She's like, you haven't got enough of a following. They're going to say, not a chance. You need to have 50,000 people, 80,000 people. So when all the publishers got back, it was exactly what she said. And she's like, they're all like, this is brilliant. This is hilarious. Who is she? Tell her to come back when she's got 50K, 100K, 200K. And I was like, so now I'm working, as I say in the book, 6 jobs at the same time. And now I'm supposed to also do the work of a team of 8 people. And then after I do that and get my 80,000 or 100,000 followers, then I'm supposed to give a publisher 90% of the value of the book.
Oh, no.
No.
You're doing all the work. It's just like the independent singers. It's like, it's the same thing. You got to have all these followers and stuff. And it's like, man, everybody's different. Like everybody can't get up there every day and just break up something all the time. I think at the end of the day, it should be about the work, and they should market the person, because back in the day, they just market the person, and that's how they get out there, because people will like what they see a lot. They'll like it. And especially, something like your book is really good. It's just crazy. And then you got to do Facebook, and Facebook ads and all that costs money. I did take a course in 2022. And it was a marketing course. And I said, oh, it does work. I did get some attention, but you got to keep it going. You can't stop those ads. You got to act like you're Walmart, have those ads running nonstop, because that's how the algorithm picks you up and make it better. But when you stop, and so that's an investment that we independent people have to put aside, or else we will not, it's not going to go the way we want. But I think that's important, those marketing courses, and soon the AI agents, once they get more smart, we'll just use them, because getting somebody from overseas, like I met a lot of people that pay people overseas in Philippines and stuff. I just think that, sometimes it's the barriers with that. I think it's better to even just have an AI agent to do it, and have everything automated and ads running consistently. So
I want to talk about the automation. There's nothing wrong with the automation. I think that's great. If that anything like that saves you time, go for it.
Yeah, because I have a dating card game. So I have AI just create posts for me. So I have 20 days of posts just, coming out each day, because I ain't gonna do it every day and until I run ads again. But I told myself I gotta run ads consistently. So, but I want to get back to the book. There was a part in the book I liked about Sylvan Goldman. He invented the shopping cart.
Yes.
That was so interesting, because the familiar bias, talk about that. Like, what is that? What made you put that in the book? Because I think I know why, but I just want the audience to hear.
Well, one of the things I learned, because obviously there's loads in the book. I mean, there's so much information from all of the different things that I learned. And I read so many books, and I being autistic, I read a lot, and I like to learn all the time. And it was important for me to write a book that I wish I had during this time. And one of the things that's really important is learning why people do the things that they do, because when we don't know, we can't navigate the world, and we can't navigate people in the way that is most effective. And then we tend to blame ourselves and sabotage ourselves and do all this because we can't figure out why we don't know why people are the way they are. Anyways, so the familiarity bias, I'm very interested in why people do things that hurt themselves, what is it that makes them vote against their interests? What is it that makes them realize that when they mistreat people, they're damaging their own community? What is it that makes people do these types of things? And familiarity bias is a big thing. I come from an industry that used to be the film and TV industry that used to be very innovative. They used to take risks on new talent. You know, they used to try new things. Now, not a chance. Everything is remade.
Yeah.
They won't give anyone a break if they haven't got a huge following. There's just no risk at all. And so I was interested in why people do that. And it's because of familiarity bias. So they'll stick with what they know, and what they know is safe, even if the new thing is proven to be better, or it makes sense, or whatever else. And we do it in so many areas of life. We do it with the people we know, toxic friends, toxic relationships. We do it with voting. We do it with where we put our money. We do it with the products that we buy. We do it all over the place. So it is a wild thing, familiarity bias. Wild.
Yeah, that stood out to me. I was like, people didn't want to use the buggy because they're like, the men was like, I ain't gonna look cool with that, and then they had to use a model to walk with the buggy, and it just makes me think about that now. Like, you got to put attractive person on the jeans ad. Like, I think it was Sydney Sweeney, or the actress that was on the American Eagle ad, people got mad about, but I don't know. But she was on there, but it brought a lot of attention. It just drew the attention in, or Beyonce wears Levi's or whatever, drove the attention in. So it's one of these things where you had to feel familiar to say, oh, Sydney's got the American Eagle jeans. Let me go get those jeans. Like, but you didn't think about it before. I mean, honestly, I forgot about American Eagle jeans because I just forgot.
I know, exactly.
I forgot. If I came across it, because I always liked American Eagle, because now the malls are closed. We don't go to the mall here. I don't go to the mall, but I'm an introvert, so I'm a kind of a recluse. I don't feel like going out. I'm somebody be chilling in the crib. Let me order on Macy's. Like, I just go to Whole Foods. But that's the thing, like that familiar, because even with music, it's like people, if you don't sing like Whitney Houston, you're like, oh, you're no good. You're supposed to be R&B, you're just familiar with the church singers. You're familiar with Whitney. You're familiar with that. And these are all great singers. But let's look at other type of styles. And that goes with everything. And that's why I said that part was the bomb. And that's going to blow up. Because I said that it goes with everything. Even in tech, it goes to everything. Because in tech, they're like, let me go buy the book. Let's go buy the book. No, sometimes you got to go around the book. Sometimes you got to look somewhere else. Sometimes, and AI kind of gives you that. If you got to go sometimes around it.
Yeah, I keep telling people, like, you miss the magic. If you do what everyone else does, or if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what everybody else gets. You're going to get what you've always gotten. That's insanity to me. Where is the experimentation? Where is the trying something new? Where is the delight in discovering something?
Yes.
We rob ourselves of that. We really do. We rob ourselves of that when we allow that bias to take over.
Yeah, because even with podcasting, people want you to stick to a niche. I'm not a niche girl. I'm unorthodox. So I can't just say, oh, let me talk about just tech. I want to talk about food. If you're a chef, like, to me, I'm not going to follow your rules. That's just like a rule breaker. I thought it was just with music, but no, it's not. No. It's with everything. I'm breaking the rules.
So, I have. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I said your book is definitely has to get out there to be number one, because you're going to help people think differently to understand things. Because it's like Walter Mosley. If you read his books, he makes you think different. And he's not out there on social media. I was looking him up the other day. I said, he's quiet, recluse type dude. Doesn't do much. But, he got in back in the day before the whole social media thing was going on. He's set. But for the new people, I think, I'm telling you, publishers out here, please listen, just stop. Go ahead, because you never know who's watching your stuff. I always say, like, anytime you're online, you never know who's watching. So I always tell publishers, please just give people a chance, because I think you could do well with Penguin Books or something. And then I did want to talk about, there was a fun part in your book too where you mentioned the stupid things you did, and I think that's interesting that you was vulnerable enough to talk about it. I was wow,
I got nothing to lose. Look, here's the thing, I got nothing to lose. And again, this could be I don't know if this is an age thing, because you really don't, you just stop caring. You just stop caring and what people think of you, and you also realize how little people actually think of us. And I don't mean that they think we suck. I mean, they're not thinking of us. They're worried about their own problems and whatever else. So I think, and the jig is up, people know I'm a weirdo. People know, like they just already know that. And I have learned that if you're okay with being vulnerable, sometimes people will take advantage of you, but guess what? They take advantage of you no matter how protective you are or how ego driven you are or whatever else anyways, right? They just take advantage of you in a different way. But I find that if you're brave enough to be vulnerable, there's it's so easy to find your people when you're like that. It's so easy to find your people like that. And there is nothing like that feeling of connecting with people and being able to contribute to people, to people's experience. And the only way we can do that is by being vulnerable. And fortunately, being an idiot is something that comes very naturally to me, Sequoia. So, so it's easy to talk about, and it's funny. I like to write funny stuff. So it does, it comes easy to me. There were other parts that were very difficult for me, not to write, but like when I talk about calling the Samaritans and unaliving ideation and those types of things that I, came from depression and feeling like I couldn't change things and it wasn't going to end, all of the pressure and everything just wasn't ending. And it was when I published the book, I panicked about 2 or 3 hours afterwards for weeks. I went, oh my God, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's out there. And I wasn't worried about strangers knowing things about me. I was worried about people in my family and people who I knew. And was this going to stop me from getting a job? And it wasn't until I talked to a friend of mine who was committed. She was committed to a psychiatric facility, and she wrote an incredible book on it. And I said, did you feel this way? Because girl, and she was like, yes. She's like, and I didn't expect it. And so it's interesting, like, it's terrifying being vulnerable. It is terrifying being vulnerable.
It is. Man, I'm happy you said that, because I was just thinking that the other day. I shared something on my last podcast about me quitting my job, a very good job to take. And I was like, dang, I don't really talk about myself. I never really talked about myself as far as that way. It was just always like stuff. So when you put that in your book, it just kind of made me feel okay about it. I didn't even, the topic was about 300,000 Black women losing their jobs, because of the government shift.
Yeah, I just read about that.
Of the federal jobs, a lot of them was working federal jobs. So I was talking about that, but I just included that I quit mine in there, little quick snip, because I wanted to tell people to document everything and to document everything that's going on when you're at a bad company, and do those things. So that was the moment where I was vulnerable, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And then I'm like, you know what? F it. I mean, I got one life to live, and I'm hoping I can help one person to help have a better life, because there's going to be a lot of people come behind me. It's not the end. There's going to be a lot of people quitting or just getting fired. Yeah. And so, and in tech is only 0.3% of Black women in it. So it's not a lot of us in it. And we are, contributing in our own ways, but we also think, for me, I think different. Like, I'm out of the box with a lot of the way I do things, but that wasn't even the problem at the job. It was just somebody that just didn't want, men that men don't like women either in tech. Women have a hard problem in general in tech. So it's a tough thing. But I like that you said that your story about being vulnerable kind of remind me of Chelsea Handler's book, and it kind of remind me of just like it just made me think about Bridget Jones, all these stories where someone is just making mistakes, like. And I'm like, because I think I had my stupid moments too, where I was like, you big dummy, in my 20s, you big dummy, what were you doing? Like, what? So yeah. I thank you for sharing that. Continue to share it. And when you're going to your comedy shows, do you mention, like, like Kevin Hart says, my life is your laugh, or he'll say, laugh at my pain.
Yes. we have a saying, like, those of us, I mean, I don't do stand-up anymore. I'm it's more comedy writing for me now, and a bit of performance here and there. But there's a saying in comedy that comedy equals tragedy plus time. And so you have to have the time, to figure out what it means, what you want to do with it, and whatever else. Absolutely. Like, One of my scripts is about when I was in a cult when I was younger. Almost
Oh yeah.
everything I draw from personal tragedy, personal idiocy,
The cult
you know,
thing.
whatever.
We gotta
Yeah.
get to one. What cult was it? Like I know. Was it
Oh no, it was
Christianity? Was it
yeah,
Muslim?
it was a fun. It was a dispensationalist, rapture, fundamentalist cult church in upstate New York.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a church like that. I
You
mean,
probably
that's
have one
interesting.
right down the road from where you are. They have them in like every town. They're kind of like more conservative than the moral majority. They're like, imagine the most conservative fundy Christians that you see on the news right now. They're like that, so Project 2020, they would believe in everything from Project 2025. So we weren't allowed to wear
Whoa.
pants. We weren't allowed to listen to rock music. We weren't allowed to we couldn't wear pants in the winter when we were outside sledding. Like we couldn't, we were taught to breastfeed when we were like 12 or 13 years old.
Mm.
It was pretty messed up, and it
Mm.
spectacularly blew up, and we had to go into hiding. It
Oh no.
it was crazy. So
It made me
obviously I
think
read
about
it.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, no. Well, actually, I couldn't. I tried watching The Handmaid's Tale. I have watched it since then, but like I tried watching it, but it was so triggering for me
Oh
that it
yeah.
was difficult to. I had to ease into it basically. But obviously, the only thing you can do is write comedy about it. That's the prism I see. Comedy was what got me through that time, because we used to hide. See, all the teenagers, we used to exchange tapes and contraband with each
Wow.
other and hide each other's contraband. And so we used to take Christian tapes and then tape over them with comedy and whatever, we had to hide them.
Wow.
So yeah, that was
Mm.
my coping mechanism. And so obviously it's just the way I process things. It's probably messed up, but
Wow.
it's the way I process things. So I love to mine suffering for, and mistakes and everything for comedy, because I'm a big believer that it's up to us to define what our experiences are and what they mean to
Mhm.
us. And that the meaning of those things can change over time, but I don't like somebody else defining my experience for me. I know how it affected me. I know what it did to me. I
Mhm.
know what it took to overcome that, or to try and work through it, or whatever else. So nobody else is going to, they don't get to define my experience. And so I think that is a way of making sense of things, writing things into comedy.
No, I love it. I love
Mm.
it. And what projects are you working on now as far as like any writing projects for any new shows or anything?
Yeah, I've got a few. I'm there's some of us are up for the Saturday Night Live is doing a
Oh,
UK version for a year, so some of us are up for that. So we find out next week, oh my god, about whether we've got interviews. I'm dying. I've been wanting to write. I have worshipped Saturday Night Live since the 70s. So
yeah, it is funny.
it's so good. In a British version would be really interesting. So there's that. I've got a couple of projects with Olivia Colman and Ed Sinclair. So
Mm.
we're getting one of those ready for pitches and attaching talent. And then my director partner, who's in LA, we're getting another project there to pitch. And I just finished writing a film. It's an adaptation of a
Ooh.
bestseller. So that was really fun. I haven't done an adaptation before, and it was such a fun process. And then I'm working with Travis
Mm.
Blaze, who is a Disney animator. So he started on like
Ooh.
Beauty and the Beast and all, Pocahontas and all these
Mm.
old films. And we have a couple of projects that we're working on together, including something for Adult Swim. So I'm kind of all over the place right now. Like you, I like to do a lot
Wow.
of things. I don't like to
Yeah.
be, tied down to anything. You know what it's like when you're an
Yeah.
interesting, rich person with rich interests. It's like you don't want
Yeah.
to niche down.
Yeah, it just happens, it sometimes people act like you're just trying to do something because you just feel like, oh, I can't sit still. But no, it's not it. It just comes to me. So if I have an idea, I'm gonna write it. And sometimes I get ideas from other people's books. Like I read 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho, and I created a song called Champion based off of it. And it wasn't about me, it was just the book inspired me. So that's why I was like, you just things just happen, and for certain people, everybody, I guess, can't handle that. But but for the people that can, don't mess with us. Don't mess with the
I'm
people that
so
can.
I'm so curious. Like, you know what? After we're done this recording, I need you to
Yeah.
send me your favorite songs you've done. I need to hear. I like to always hear an artist's favorites of their own work, because I think that says a lot about them. And so I can't wait to hear your stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, send it. I call it abstract soul because I realized I didn't want to be in R&B box. I didn't want to be in a box. So I said abstract soul. I'll say alternative noir because I just whatever I feel like doing, I'm gonna do it. And I think that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes music fun. Because other than that, it's a job if you go and follow their rules. So but yeah, let's play a game of would you rather before we
Okay.
close out here. Use some cool questions. I love doing would you rather because it's always interesting. If I can find them, where did they go? Oh man. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Now, this is interesting.
Okay. I'm excited.
Number one.
Okay.
Would you rather have your entire consciousness uploaded into an AI that can live forever, but only runs on the loop of your worst memories, or stay fully human, but lose access to all digital technology? No internet, no phones, no Google, only face to face chaos and handwritten rage.
Oh, absolutely. Number two. Oh, that would be so easy for me. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yep. I would love it. I would live my cottagecore wild, swamp witch, existence. That would be absolutely cool with me.
You know what I was thinking that too. I could deal with that. I mean, hey, a little chaos and some handwritten rage, man. I'll just be chilling and writing. I'll be all
Just
right.
get
I'll still be
books.
entertained.
Yeah, get books, do art.
Yeah.
I don't know. All of a sudden, I've got 10 more free hours a day. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, number two. Would you rather wear augmented reality glasses that filter the world to only show beauty, joy, and approval, but you'll never know what's real? Or see the world exactly as it is, raw, painful, unfiltered, but have a voice in your head narrating every thought with brutal honesty in front of strangers? That's kind of tough.
Okay, wait. So would the strangers hear the narrator? Because see, I have ADHD as well, and so I have the narrator anyways that always talks. So that's just one of
Yeah,
the things
they're
that
going to
we have.
hear
So
it.
they're going to hear that.
Yeah, I'm
They
always talking
usually
too.
do with me anyway. Oh, is this for the rest of my life, or is this
Yep,
like a
it's
given?
the rest of your life. This is your
Oh,
world. This
that's
is
a
how
tough
your
one.
world will be.
Um.
I might
Oh.
hurt somebody's feelings. So
Oh, I already hurt people's feelings. That's fine.
oh dang.
Filter. This is hard because I would like some beauty, and I would like to just kind of fool myself into thinking that the world is just nice and go. I mean, it is nice and gorgeous in a lot of ways, and I am very appreciative of a lot of things, but the ugliness of humans and is very difficult. And because there's not a lot of justice, it's very difficult to deal with. So that is a very. Can I ask what you would do first? I'm dying because what would you do?
I would just take the augmented reality
Oh,
and just be like, everything's flowers and gold. Because
yeah,
I did a
yeah.
show
La,
where I
la,
said
la, la.
ignorance really bliss.
Yeah,
Because some people don't watch the news, they don't know what's going on. They
yeah,
just not. And I said, dang, I can't. Wish I was like that, but I'm too goddamn curious. I can't
yeah.
live like that. But I wish I had the rose-colored glasses where I'm just like, yay, flowers. I mean, what the heck? So that's
That
what
would
I
be
would choose.
nice.
I know that's bad, but hey,
That would be
it's like on
nice.
it's like you're on a medication all day or something.
I know it sounds amazing. Actually, I would like to not have that anxiety and the justice. Being autistic,
Yeah.
justice is such a huge thing for me, and so my whole life I've just been like, oh, there's so much terrible. Oh, people are being treated terribly,
Mm-hmm.
and it really does take its toll on all of us. So yeah, I'm with you. Glasses. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go
just
into
let's hide.
let's just live in La La Land. Let's do it.
Yeah, like gummy bears and stuff. My heaven on earth for real. Last one. Would you rather be part of a government experiment that lets you revisit any past life to gather wisdom, but every time you return, you forget one deep detail about the people you love? Or live in a future where you can delete emotions like apps, grief, fear, heartbreak, but each deletion costs you a piece of your creativity?
Oh, definitely number one. And I'll tell you why. Because
Yeah.
if I forget something about the people I love, I can just relearn it. Because the curiosity is still going to keep going. Everything is still going to keep going. And so, I'm not going to neglect I'm very curious. I ask people a million
Mhm.
questions, especially the people who I love. So I think that
Mhm.
one, I wouldn't want to delete emotions. No.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
emotions are what make things, even terrible emotions, jealousy
Grief.
or
Yeah.
grief,
Mhm.
that's what makes our experience so rich. And also we need the shade. We need the light in the shade. We need the grief to
Mhm.
feel the depth of love. So yeah, no,
Yes,
I
I
wouldn't want
totally
to get rid
agree.
of that. How about you? So
Yeah, I
you're the
think
same.
I agree with you. I'm number one. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
can just learn it because I'm just curious. Like
Yeah.
I got a shirt coming out where it's gonna be about curiosity because I just want to create that thought provoking energy into the universe. So I was like, I'm gonna get that shirt. Because curiosity didn't kill the cat, it freed the cat. There we go.
Amen. Yes.
There we
People
go.
undervalue curiosity. It's so important in life, and
Mhm.
it's good for your mental health as well, not just your intellectual health.
Yes. I totally agree. Oh my God, I'm so
Mm.
happy you came on here today. Before we go, I always ask people this one question. What's a saying or quote that you go by?
Oh God, the same quote I give every time I give a talk, and that is this. It's a Maya Angelou quote, and it's that people will forget, what your name is, and they'll forget what you do and everything, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And I think that
Mm,
is a very, very powerful uh, thing to live by. Really, really, and it gets at the essence
mhm,
of what connects us as people. And
mhm.
that's the most important thing, isn't it? Is connection and all of us going together. So yeah.
Human
How about you?
connection.
What's
I love that.
yours?
Snap, snap. Oh my God, I got too many quotes. I'm a quote baby. I don't even. Look. I wouldn't blink. I try to remember my quote. Oh, as you said, my Angela. When you know better, you do better. Because when you know
Yes.
better,
Yeah.
you do better. Because well, at least some people. I don't know about right, but for me in my life, when I find out something, I'm like, okay, now I know what to do for the next situation.
Yeah.
Because it's like now I already went through it, and it's like, I mean, to me, it's when you know better, you do better. Because you're supposed to do better, but I know everybody's different, but I do implore people, please just try to, look at the signs and details, like you said, the all the green signs, and it's all connected. All the dots are connecting,
Mm,
and we have to look at it, man. But you got to notice it, and it's about being aware and self awareness. It's a tough
it
task, and
really
sometimes
is.
people can be too self aware because that's me. Sometimes, with that's a whole nother topic, but yeah,
Yeah,
with
but you're
self
you're only
awareness,
like that
people,
because you care. You're examining yourself and
yeah,
asking questions about yourself as well because you care. If you didn't
yes.
care, you wouldn't do it.
Yes, and social awareness, because the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, it
Mm,
took me a long time to tap into my psyche, and you being an artist too, it's like you can pick up things about people, and sometimes if you're in your ego, you don't notice and you skip it. But
amen.
if you are stuck in, like, you stand in your higher self, you start picking up stuff about people, and then you either pull back or you give more. You just know who to say it to, how this person is, and then you go with that. And it could be a bad situation where you got to go, but then there's some situations like, okay, I know how to work with this person. I know what type of person they is. So
Yep.
that's something that is so important. But I'm not gonna hold you up. I know we out to the end of the showtime, but I want you to shout out your book, where people can buy it at. I'm gonna put in the show notes, but you can give a shout out.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, the name again is Good Stuff to Read When You're About to Lose Your Shit. And you can get it on my website, which is www.itsamandagraham.com. ITSAMANDAGRAHAM. It's amandagraham.com. and it's right there under shop.
Yay. And everybody, I'll put that in my show notes so you can also click it if you didn't get that. So I thank everybody for following me, rock with me. Please subscribe and share so we can get this great message out there and get the podcast out there. And thanks for everybody that's been supporting me. Thanks, Amanda, for coming on. And peace,
Thanks for
everybody.
having me. It's been a pleasure. I've loved it.
You're welcome. Stay safe, stay curious, everybody. Peace.